Okay, so
Okay.
we're recording our meeting, which has just opened at 5:32. Should we do the minutes? If someone wants to make a motion
To do the minutes or to
to
approve?
move to approve, yeah.
I move to approve the minutes of
April 8th.
April 8th, 2020.
Second, I second. This is Linda. I second.
Mhm.
Any discussion?
Nope.
No. So shall we vote, and we'll do roll call. So this is Linda. Aye.
Joanne, aye.
Janice Gray, aye.
Oh, I should have said Susan Millinger, aye.
Are you still there, Susan?
Susan G.
Yeah, Susan G. Do you want to vote on the minutes? We can't hear you.
I'm going to call on my line. Do you hear me right now?
Yes, just barely, but we can.
Okay, I'm going to turn the landline.
Janice, while we're waiting, did you vote about the minutes?
Yes, I voted aye.
Oh, thank you. Sorry, I didn't catch that.
Are you there, Susan G?
I'm here.
Okay, all right.
I can hear you.
Yeah, we're having a really hard time hearing you.
I'm still here.
Okay. Okay, so the next item on our agenda is the foot care by nurses update.
The letter from Good Care talked about their services and how they're continuing. Is that volume a little better for you to hear?
Yes.
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 Okay. And what they're offering, and they mentioned they've offered it to some councils on aging, a discount for a home visit for current customers, that those who have taken advantage of it before. The discount for a home visit is $60 versus $90 for a home visit. And that's what they mentioned they're discounting.
Okay.
They also mentioned they will be reopening their Greenfield office at the end of May, and the price for that is $45. And then they detail how they maintain precautions. I'm sure some of you have met Kate before, Clayton Jones. I know she did a program called The Bars 3 or 4 years ago that a lot of people talked about. So I just wanted to bring it forward with what do we do with this information. In case anyone's wondering, since December, we have taken care of 17 different people in the foot care clinic. 18 had signed up, but one of them was signed up for the month that everything ended. So that's my spiel. Just what do I do with this info, if anything? The one thought I had is that I call these folks and just tell them that if they want to change their visit.
Oh, you're going away again.
My thought was I would call these people on the list and say that they could call up the office.
Now she's gone.
Yeah.
Oh, gee. Well, there was another piece in the letter that I received. Did the rest of you receive the letter?
I didn't, and it seems that some current clients received the letter.
Well, my letter is downstairs on the kitchen table because I forgot to bring it upstairs, but I think it said it was asking whether COA might be willing to help subsidize the extra cost of the at-home visit.
Okay. We have done that in the past because we have had one or two, we've had two individuals who have had home visits, and they've contributed some towards the cost, and the COA has paid the rest. It was, I think that it was not, I think it was $45 at that point in time, the cost of the home visit. So we have done it. So we have precedence. And so it's something we could continue to do.
Since we don't have Susan, do you want me to run downstairs and get the letter so I can read you the precise language?
Is this something just for people who have already had home visits?
I think that's what,
That's what Susan said.
It sounded like that from Susan.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear what she was saying.
I know it was very hard. So we'll get Susan Millinger's letter.
what I could hear from Susan G.
Oh, she's coming back.
Oh, good. Anyway, it was for existing people and they would do home visits at a discount.
Yeah.
From the usual price for home visits. And their office was going to open the end of May. So I guess people could go there too.
Yes. I was gone for about a minute. I'm back now.
Oh, and we can hear you ever so much better.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, much better.
Yeah. In the meantime,
Excellent.
Susan Millinger just went to get her letter. So
I was going to read the sentence which refers to councils on aging helping to subsidize the difference. Do you want me to read it, or should I go back, leave it up to you, Susan?
Go ahead.
Okay. Some council on aging are subsidizing the difference in pricing and some are not.
okay. And the letter is addressed to whom?
Dear Susan.
Oh, okay.
And mine said, Dear Susan also.
But does it address you as a participant in the foot clinic?
I think so, yes.
Okay.
Probably, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I was just wanting to understand. So Susan G., while you were gone, I was saying that we have precedent for subsidizing the cost of a home visit because we've had two different people who have had home visits and have contributed some to the cost. And at that time, the cost was $45. And now I can see that it's $60 for existing clients.
Right.
And, so what do folks think?
Well,
I
if
when
it's
I-
only been for people who have had home visits already,
No.
No.
Existing foot care clinic
okay,
people.
okay.
When I thought there were the 18 people, I multiplied it out by 60, and that's over $1,000. My thoughts are that that's a whole lot of the budget on just a few people in town.
Yes, but I wouldn't suggest we would offer to cover the whole 60. To
Right.
me, it would make sense to cover 30 and let people, pay 30 or 35 as they've been accustomed to, not that I know it's a donation. But we could subsidize part of it. I also suspect that not everybody is going to want a foot care nurse in her home or his home. No
Also,
matter
and
what, because
and there are some people,
Whoop. Susan G., say it again.
there are a contingent of people that couldn't come up with $30, but we could, offer that as a, we could offer that.
That
We do a survey of, Susan, Susan G., I assume you have contact information. Can we find out how many people would want it?
we can't really.
We could, but I think this, in calling people for the foot care clinic, it's usually that I call, I leave a message, they call back, and then that goes on back and forth for a couple days sometimes.
Yeah.
They don't call me back. So I guess if we're thinking of offering them something, and I think $30 is generous, I would take counsel up on that. Is there some way to just let them? I don't know. Do we have to let this business know who might be calling them and give them a list of if these people call, they are well, they would know if they're the current clients because they have them on their books. And I'm certainly willing to call these people and just tell them, if they would like to take advantage of this home visit, the Council on Aging would kick in $30. It costs $45. Please call the office and make your own arrangements. Or we could send them a letter.
No. We can't, I think, it seems like, well, I don't know for
Actually,
certain, but at least you two have received the letter. I didn't, but, we don't know if other foot clinic attendees received the letter.
right, and I just looked at the info, and it says it's through the end of June that they're offering this discount for visits. So maybe it's something we can think about and bring up again next time, or whatever.
I couldn't hear you clearly. Susan Millinger, do you know what part of the letter? Can you read that part of the letter?
Okay. At this time, we do not know when the COA clinics will be safe for people to freely congregate in again. Therefore, through the end of June 2020, we're offering a steep discount, $60 versus $90 for home visits for our current COA clinic consumers.
Okay. All right. So what we would be thinking about is contacting the current clients to let them know that if they decide to have a home visit, that the Council on Aging is willing to subsidize the cost up to $30. Well, this is just a suggestion, up to $30, and that, if we just let them know that, then it's up to them to decide if they want to have a home visit. And, then we would be, we would process the invoice from Foot Care by Nurses. And I don't know if we would want to make a different level of support or for people who might choose to go to their office.
What was the office cost?
45.
That's what
I
I
would be tempted not to subsidize the office visit. It's not such a steep increase.
Right, right. I think we have the precedent for for subsidizing home visits already.
Mhm.
We made that decision, probably before all of you were on the council.
Yeah. Before, I don't remember it, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And so we have that precedent.
Mhm. Do we have email information for everyone or
No.
mailing information?
We've lost Susan again, but I would think it would be perhaps Susan calling the current people, because she has the phone numbers, and just letting them know, saying, perhaps you received a letter from Foot Care by Nurses about their offer for a home visit. We'd like you to know that the council is willing to subsidize up to of the cost of a home visit.
I think that sounds reasonable.
This is Janice. I think she was actually starting to say that before she got cut off the first time,
Yeah,
that she would be willing to do that.
yeah. I thought so too.
I think it would be a good idea to capture email addresses if that's possible for everyone, to make this easier if something else happens that we need to get in touch, rather than having Susan G have to call everybody separately.
Yeah, but that's how we've always done it. But you're right, if people have email.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
That's a big if.
yeah.
Okay.
Back.
I'm in agreement with what Linda said. Would someone like to make a motion to that extent? Susan, you're ready to write, right?
Yep, I'm ready to write, right.
Susan G,
Okay.
can you hear us?
I can, but tell me what you said that
Yes, because you went away again.
I know I couldn't get the computer to work and now my phone keeps crapping out on me.
So, okay, so what I said is that, okay, so I move that the Council on Aging subsidize the cost of a home visit by the Foot Care by Nurses to one of our current clients for up to $30.
Their current clients?
There
Or
are
ours.
Shutesbury current Foot Care clinic
Mhm.
participants, by up to $30. Do you want to repeat that?
No, I got it. I moved that you do that.
So,
And I second it.
okay, Susan G seconds. And discussion, more discussion?
Can I read it, please, before we discuss it?
Yes.
The COA subsidizes the cost of home visits by Foot Care for Nurses to one of the current Shutesbury Foot Clinic clients up to $30.
Yeah.
Yes, is that
Yeah.
correct?
Janice?
This was more of a discussion thing, which I don't know if we're at that point.
Yeah, we are.
Do we want to specify through June 30th, 2020, like the letter does?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I amend the motion to say through June 30th, 2020.
Maybe you said that and I
I
didn't.
did not. No.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
And
Should it be singular or plural? Could people have a couple of home visits between now and then?
probably not, since they usually go every other month, right? And this is
Okay, so the cost of one home visit.
one home visit. Yep, that sounds good. Okay, so let's read it again, and then we can have an amended motion on the floor. Yep.
The COA subsidized motion that the COA subsidize the cost of one home visit by Foot Care by Nurses to one of, to Shutesbury current Foot Clinic clients up to $30 through June 30th, 2020.
Okay, so
A little awkward.
we're all agreed with, well, so shall we have a roll call vote? for the amended motion?
Yep.
Okay, this is Linda, I. Linda Avis Scott, I.
Joanne Bernhardt, aye.
Janice Gray, aye.
Susan Millinger, aye.
Susan Gomberg, aye.
Okay.
Okay. Yay. So Susan G, will you be
Yes.
willing to call the people and just let them know?
I will call them and let them know that, and I will give them the number of the office and
Great.
the information that we have discussed. But I think somebody, either you or Joanne, could you contact the office and let them know that we're doing this?
Mm.
Okay.
And this is Janice speaking.
I can do that because I have an email for the office.
And that's a segue to what I was going to add, because while Susan G was, her phone was disabled or whatever for a point, there was a question of whether it might be possible to capture email addresses
Thank you.
for people so that you don't have to be making all these calls if things change again or something else happens. I don't know if Susan G is willing to try to do that. But
When
I thought
when I call these people, I'm happy to ask them if they have an email address.
Thank you. That's
Thanks.
Janice
Certainly.
speaking.
Thanks.
And I don't have any email addresses for the other council members, by the way.
For us?
Right.
Well,
They're in the
when we send a group email, you have them all in the group email.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so like when we sent the notice about tonight, all our addresses are in that email.
Not in the
Okay.
email itself, but
They're up at the top.
Yeah, yeah.
I have seen that. As
So
a-
you should be able to just start typing in our name and have the email address pop up, I would think.
I hope so. But I'm guessing you and Linda do not need phone calls from me.
Say that again, Susan G.
Susan M. and you, Linda, do not need phone calls from me regarding this
No, we
issue.
don't. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Susan.
You
We
can
don't.
kick us off.
Just checking. Just checking. Just to make sure.
Yeah. So I can see that Mary Ann is here. Do we want to go over to Mary Ann's article and item, excuse me, and then come back to Village Neighbors after?
Yeah.
yes,
Okay.
Please.
Janice says yes.
Hi, Mary Ann.
Oh, she's in the library.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
There she is.
yes. So I've been doing, that was Sue Gomberg who said I was in the library.
Janice Gray
It
said
was
that.
Janice.
Oh, Janice, great. Okay, alrighty. Okay, so I've been doing curbside pickup unofficially almost the whole time we've been closed. And now the governor says we can start doing curbside pickup next Monday, which
Oh, good.
we'll start Tuesday because Monday is Memorial Day.
Now you have permission.
Yes. Okay. And I'm really glad I've been doing it because I've been able to fine tune it and change how I do it. And so I feel like I have a system that works for us that might also work for other people, or at least can help other people figure out a system. And if none of us had been doing it, there are a few libraries here and there who've been doing it, then everybody would have to be making it from scratch. So it's good. So I've been talking to the Survival Center about so this thing, which I see it's not on this email that they sent me, but they call it a senior nutrition program where they get a monthly distribution of food to seniors who self-identify as needing food delivered to them. And they're doing this down in Amherst, and they're doing it in Belchertown, and they're doing it in one other town. It's either Granby or Pelham.
Pelham.
Okay. Yeah, and they're working with the councils on aging, and of course Amherst and Belchertown, their council on agings have actual staff, and I don't know what the case is in Pelham. But so once a month, either somebody from the receiving community goes to the survival center and picks up the boxes of food, or the survival center delivers it to the community, and then with the seniors, volunteers get it to the seniors' homes. And on this list that they have, it says that people come, well, it does say delivery to people's doorsteps. So, and I'm picturing this as being people who really need us to, these are people that can't get to the survival center and get food on their own, and that's why we would be doing it here. And I've been wanting to do something like this for people in Shutesbury since this crisis started. And this seems like a good way to start, to, just start with a targeted population who's probably among our most vulnerable. And I think it'll be small. And they do get to sort of choose, if they're vegetarians, they get to say they're vegetarians and there won't be any meat put in their box. But the survival center makes the boxes of food. So they don't get to sort of select, what goes in the boxes of food, but nobody's able to do that at the survival center now anyway. They just get, it used to be that you could go in there and you could kind of shop.
Yeah.
So if you'll be my partners, I'll do all the work.
Love it.
And Marianne,
I'm going to make Joanne help me though. Okay. Yes.
so
Okay.
there's this application
Okay.
procedure. Is
Yeah.
that correct? That
So if I can just say, I sent the letter that Marianne sent, her part and the Amherst Survival Center part, I sent out to everyone on the Council on Aging. So you can see the exact text. And it's quite detailed. So I hope that you all can have a chance to read, the actual description of the program. But I just want to reiterate that Marianne said she would be responsible for registering people, right, Marianne?
Yes.
Yeah, which I think is the biggest issue.
right. Yeah, that's what I was wondering about, is that part.
Mhm.
Right. And so my feeling is, so I'm already up here in the center of town. I don't think 50 people are going to register for this.
No.
So I feel like it will be a manageable project, and I feel like I'm positioned to be available to people to take the registration. And I think in a small town and in times like these, it's okay to do things a little differently, and the library has already been feeding people. We would have dinners at the athletic club, and some people didn't pay. And and so this is just a different way of feeding people. And they self-select. There's no asking people to prove their financial ability. And I like that. And and again, I don't think people who have means are going to come looking for free food. But if they do, that's not for me to police, and the survival center doesn't police that.
Right.
But again, I don't think people will. But the reason why I think it would be nice to have the Council on Aging's name on it is so if somebody lands asking you about it or goes looking on the Council on Aging website about it, they see, oh yes, they're involved in this, and this is who you contact, and And, for now, while we're in the midst of this emergency, we'll just come up with a system. And again, we'll fine tune it as we're developing it. And then we'll make changes as we need to. But, and then later when things are back to normal, then we'll come up with a new plan then. But when things are back to normal, there are always lots more people around who can help. So I'm not worried about then either.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Okay, so there are 3 things that people need to do to register.
Okay.
There are 2 online forms. I downloaded them today. And one is just a registration of who you are and how many people in your household. And one is designating an alternate person to pick up the box for you. And then a choice of things that you want, which is really surprised me with its inclusivity, which is dietary restrictions, vegetarian, gluten-free, dairy-free, nut-free, frozen protein that you prefer, chicken, turkey, beef, pork, fish, vegetarian. How many people in your household need menstrual products? How many people need diapers and incontinence products? How many cats do you have? How many dogs do you have? Do you need pet food? So I thought that was actually quite wonderful. So those 2 forms, which are online, if people have the ability to download them, and then a proof of address. So there are 3 things needed to register.
And it looks like
Is going
And
to
if
have
somebody doesn't have the forms, I can print them out and mail them to them.
right, but the proof and the proof of address is going to have to be a physical thing that people turn in some way.
Yeah, but I think yes. But again, so do they? We have let's see, proof of address.
would that include a library card? No, because that's not on the card. It's just in the record.
No, but it's in the record, and I have the town street list. So I'm gonna know people's addresses. Like I can verify people's addresses.
You can
They've lived
verify,
here. Yeah. So that piece I'm not worried about.
Right, because as a town employee, you could verify the address.
Right.
I think what happened here was they cut and pasted something from the Emers Survival Center website.
Yes.
And the first part says that the site, which would be Shutesbury, would take in the registrations and then give that to the Emers Survival Center. The second piece, which is this very detailed piece of what happens, I think assumes that people are coming to the Survival Center with their proof of with their registration materials. So there's a two-phase thing going on here. So I think as the site director, Mary Ann, you could, you can probably vouch for people with the library card registration or something.
Yes.
Yeah, but you would need to check that that you can do that.
The street.
Yeah.
We do that as town employees. So.
Yeah.
Or if you mail forms to people and have them mail them back, then the letter that they mail back to you will have their address on it.
We'll have their address on it. Yes.
Yeah.
Hopefully. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Can I?
Yes.
You actually, this letter that Joanne sent us says that you only need the registration form if you're a new shopper.
Right. So that is for people, right. So
who already go to
they already be in their list. Yes.
Good point.
So, yes. Yeah.
So for some people, it's easier.
Well,
right.
Can we find out who's already there?
I think people
They would
have
say.
to, I think people have to tell us. Um, so, but what might happen is the survival center might tell them, contact, contact them. So that might work for them too. So, and we'll work with the survival center to set this up.
Okay,
Uh,
okay.
yeah. So, and it's Jen Supernant, or I'm not sure how to say her last name, but she lives here in town. And she's their pantry coordinator.
Oh.
So she's come to some fitness programming, and has seen that the library offers programming for seniors, and so she already had a connection. So I think she'll be easy enough to work with. I think, and again, I think they've done this in other towns and it's worked. So I think this is something we can make work. And then sort of I can get everything written up and coordinated and then send it out in a town announce and put it on Nextdoor Shutesbury, and it can go on. Do you still have somebody updating the Council on Aging webpage?
When we have something, succinct,
yeah.
I can ask Susie to do it.
Okay.
Or
Okay.
Janice, you can't do it yet.
I can't update it myself, but I can ask Susie.
Okay.
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 So we can put it there. And then, if another town mailing goes out, then some people might get it, so there were those 90 addresses that got a paper mailing. So people might get it that way. And then I think we see what happens. Does that sound okay? Yeah.
Well, Linda had an idea about.
Okay.
So yes, I'm a little bit, the bit about the newsletter going out, that was to the people who do not have broadband,
Right.
Premises. So I culled the list that Gail Huntress gave us, of the premises who don't have broadband, because some of those addresses were not houses. And of course, I could cross-reference that list with the COA, because not everybody on that list, believe it or not, is not a senior.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's fewer than that.
But also you said some lake people who
Yeah,
are.
that listed, that was almost 150 people, because of to the people that received our town by mail, what were the non-broadband people, plus my Lake Wyola list of people who live out of town that asked to receive the newsletter.
Right.
So those are people that would not, those are X'd off.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
But that just by way of explanation.
Yeah.
So
we could print out the letter that we post on Nextdoor Shutesbury and send out a town announce, and the registration form and the food selection form, and just mail it, to that list. My concern is that there might be people who have broadband but don't actually use computers. Because I know there were people who had it installed on their homes because they could get it installed for the $200.
Right.
But those people are few and far between,
right.
I think.
And there's lake people that did it. Yeah, I mean, we can't, excuse me, my screen's a mess. I think that when a town announce goes out, it could include Please, if you know a neighbor,
Yes, yes.
someone else in town that may be in
Right.
need of these services, would you please reach out to them
Yeah.
and have them contact Marianne at the
Yeah.
library? To me, that seems like a very important piece of this.
Okay. Yeah.
Is encouraging us to reach out and check with other people
Yeah.
in our neighborhoods that we may know who are seniors with just their Social Security or whatever income, other
Right.
people that are older who have lost their jobs,
Yeah.
that we be sure that we do that, that we do
Yeah.
that as individuals.
Yes.
Because I don't know about mailing everything out to people. I always hesitate I've hesitated before, and I hesitate now, just thinking if we had another, like Joanne had mentioned the idea of possibly a postcard. I don't know. I don't know. I just think about whether it's efficient to mail everything to people who aren't going to use it.
Right.
I
Right.
don't.
Right. Right. And then is there, eventually we'll be getting back to doing a mailed town newsletter, or do you think we won't?
We don't know where we're going to go at this point
Don't know.
because we really don't know what we're going to do. I mean, annual town meeting, most of those materials are all going to be online.
Okay.
We really don't know.
Okay. 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 All righty. Yep.
Do you think there might, I have a couple quick questions. Do you think there might be a role for village neighbors here in that they might know some people? I mean, I sometimes have the sense that it's mostly New Salem and Wendell who are the needy people that Village Neighbors serves, but I'm sure that's not true.
Right.
And I was thinking Village Neighbor, this is Janice speaking, that Village Neighbors, we're going to be talking about them later in this meeting. They could be some of the drivers to deliver the food.
They could. So here's, so Village Neighbors is not Shutesbury specific.
No?
And no, well, Village Neighbors is it's 4 towns,
We know
right?
this. Right.
And so, I mean, they may be willing to drive, but I think, well, I don't, so the Survival Center serves certain towns, and I don't know if the Survival Center serves all of the towns
Right.
that Village Neighbors serves. And Village Neighbors, I can't take on coordinating this for the amount of people that might be involved if the 4 towns were involved.
No. Nobody's
okay.
suggesting that.
Yeah. Okay.
No.
Okay.
Actually, I looked at the list. Leverett is the only town, only other town in this list that Amherst Survival Center serves.
Okay. Right. Okay. But they might be able to tell us.
I was thinking they might provide names.
Yeah, they
They
might.
can't do that. They can't do that.
Well, not names, but they could communicate to people that
Yes.
they thought might
Tell
use the
them-
service.
Yeah, we could
Yeah.
tell them. We could
Yeah.
tell them we could tell them about this service, and they could communicate it to the Shutesbury people.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can
Sorry.
tell
Sorry.
them- Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that piece.
That's a
Yes,
good
that
idea.
can be an outreach piece.
That's a good
Uh,
idea. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So
Okay.
2 other small pieces. One is, I guess my suspicion is that a lot of people don't want other people in town to know that they might need food aid. And that it might be a lot easier to go down to Amherst, which is more neutral territory, than come to Shutesbury Library. But, I'm sure Amherst option is still available to go down to Amherst itself for people that wouldn't be comfortable.
Yeah.
But I guess I just
Right,
worry
this
that
is
that's always
for-
a consideration.
Right. This is for the people who getting to Amherst is a burden for them. So,
Yeah.
so there might be people who who, who can't get down to Amherst. And so this would be us finding a way to get food to them. It's lifting that burden for them.
Yeah.
Maybe nobody will participate, but we will have offered.
Yeah.
And yeah. And something, the library is a place that tends to know a lot about people, and I don't think that people think. I think a lot of people feel very comfortable with the library.
Mhm.
And so I think, and I think this is a time when there may be more people who are going to be willing to ask for help, just because we're in the middle of this crisis.
Yeah.
And so they're going to feel like it's okay.
I also, the people that I know, the older people are, the more they are worried and afraid and, hesitant to go down. Even shopping becomes a trial. And to go to a place like the Amherst Survival Center, where a lot of people are going in and out, is going to be very worrisome to some people. I think picking up something or having something delivered in Shutesbury would be a way to serve them better.
I
Especially
hope people realize that if they're members of Village Neighbors will go grocery shopping for them and deliver groceries to their doorstep.
That's very good. And there's another thing, some kind of thing called mutual aid that's happening regionally, and there are people that will do that too, which is great.
But that assumes that they're
and I
paying
do.
for it.
I think that's another volunteer service. Yeah.
The Village Neighbors
So
go shopping for people, though the people are going to be paying for the
Oh.
groceries.
I just have to go put something outside. I'll be right back. Okay.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
You mean the people that are sending somebody to do shopping for them,
Yeah.
they're paying for the groceries? Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
But that
Yeah.
helps
This is-
with the
this-
concerns that you're talking about that people have who don't want to go to stores.
Mhm,
And who are in need of food,
mhm.
economic need of food.
Oh, yeah.
I remember
This program helps those.
Yeah. I remember talking to Nancy Spittle from Wendell at one of the meetings. And she said they do a monthly food distribution
Oh,
in Wendell, where people come up to a parking lot and they get boxes of food, no questions asked. So things are needed and are going on in other places. I was surprised to hear that. I hadn't heard anything about it. But the number of people, she said there are quite a few people who come for these food distribution days. So I think the need may be here that we're just not seeing.
yeah, absolutely.
So it sounds like we're all in support of, we're all in agreement of, we can make a motion, et cetera. It feels like we're all in agreement with Marianne's generous offer and to, basically run the program with our backing. I think the one piece we haven't answered is, we've answered about it, a town announce, updating our website, Nextdoor Shutesbury. I'll put it on eCricket if you don't go on there, Marianne,
Okay.
when we're ready. And the question really is about the efficacy of a mailing and, should we, send out to a few households that I can call out of that non-broadband list, and how would we do that? Because that in and of itself is problematic.
Sounds like we shouldn't.
Just in terms of logistics. When we did the town mailing for our town newsletter, Janice created the digital version and the version to be printed. And then I did the online ordering with Amherst Copy. Then Rita Farrell picked it up, and then I gave the label list to Becky by email. Becky printed them out and put the postage on, put the labels on and the postage on, and took it over to the post office. So that's how that happened.
Right.
Um,
Right. I'm not, so do you think it would be, well, you know what, we can do it without doing a mailing. The goal of the mailing would be to reach people who aren't on the internet.
yeah.
And I think we could tell the police and the fire department that we're doing this.
Yes. Good idea.
We could tell the church. So police, fire, church, village neighbors, we can tell all these people, and then we can, in our communication, we can ask people if they know of a neighbor
Yep.
to please reach out to them and encourage them to contact me. And
Yep.
we can do the same with the police, the fire, the church, and village neighbors. And the survival center. And then word may spread. And again, we, as I sit here and think about it, I mean, I can think of people that, who would probably really appreciate this service. And so there are two people who I'll reach out to myself.
Okay.
And then we'll just, we'll do the best we can, having good intentions.
Yes, and I do believe, I hope that we all kind of have awareness of people in our, like you said, in our town, that in our neighborhoods, that we would want to reach out to
Right.
personally.
Yeah.
We could also, Marianne, whatever text is developed for next door Shutesbury and et cetera, have a printed version at the library. So
Yeah,
people,
and at the post office.
yeah, so people could pick it up. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. I think, it's the post office people are still going into. So, I think it'll be some weeks before anybody actually comes into the library, but we can, we can have it up. We can have a flyer up here and a flyer up at the post office too, and a flyer up at town hall. But good. So, yeah, so I think I'm okay without doing a mailing and just getting the word out digitally, and starting small so that we can make sure it works. I do have, so there are several people who have said they would be willing to deliver boxes of food. And I think that, that part of it, again, there are always lots of people around who are willing to help. So I'm not worried about that part of it, but there are several people who have told me that.
How heavy are these boxes, Marianne?
So they said they give 70 pounds of food, but one box.
I'm not going to volunteer to schlep that around.
No, but but one box can't be 70 pounds. So they must be, they must be 35-pound boxes.
Wow.
And
Still, that's pretty substantial.
And you know what? I think we should, when we're asking people to do things that involved coming out and being around other people, even if you can maintain social distance and wear a mask, I think we should be targeting volunteers who are under 65, like the governor said today.
He said today, yep.
And
Yep.
so, not to suggest that anyone here is over 65, but
But he did say it again. He told us to stay home.
Yes, yeah, and I think I think he has warned. He's saying that because he knows He knows the numbers.
Yes,
So,
yes,
yeah, it's, so anyway, I'm gonna, the volunteers who I have in mind are under 65. They're they're all over 55. But
So, so I'd like to make a motion that the Council on Aging co-sponsor the Shutesbury Amherst Survival Center program that Mary Ann Antonellis, Library Director, is graciously willing to put in place and manage, and that the council would be the council would pay for any expenses incurred.
Does that do it?
yeah, from my end, one of you needs to second it.
Second?
Any discussion?
Does the select board have to get involved? Is this something that,
I don't think so.
No, I'll make sure the trustees know about it. And I'm sure they'll be supportive.
because I know
and
you sent this to the select board.
I did, because they, they've expressed some concern about meeting people's needs, and they sent out an announcement weeks ago saying that people could send gift cards to the elementary school for families.
Yeah.
So they've been asked to, that they've been notified, and I haven't heard anything. So I think if they had objections, or if they wanted to, help or ask questions, they would have replied, and I haven't heard anything. So,
Okay,
yeah.
before we vote, I'd like to read the motion, so I'm sure that I have it correct. Okay?
Yeah.
The COA co-sponsors, or agrees to co-sponsor, the Amherst Survival Center, a site delivery program that Mary Ann Antonellis, the library director, is graciously willing to put in place and manage, and the council will pay for any expenses incurred.
I would say for seniors.
Okay, the site delivery program for seniors.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and do you want me to include the word Shutesbury? You want me to
Yes.
call it the Shutesbury / Amherst Survival Center site delivery program?
Yes, I do, because
Okay.
that's what it is, right?
I have a question. How does the Amherst Survival Center define senior for this program? Is it the same way we do?
I'm gonna ask them, and then we'll go with whatever their number is. But I'll ask them that question.
Right, because we're 55. Ours is 55 and older.
Right. I know what yours is. I'll ask them what theirs is.
Yeah.
My guess is they're gonna be willing to work with us. I doubt that, so, but I'll ask them that question.
Okay.
Okay.
Are we ready to vote?
Who seconded the motion? Joanne, did you,
I
or was
did.
it Janice?
I
Joanne.
did. Joanne,
Thank you.
is Sue Gomberg around anymore?
Yeah, I
I'm
think
here.
so.
She's
got two
here,
spots.
yes. Okay, so roll call vote.
Mhm.
Linda Davis Scott, aye.
Joanne Bernhardt, aye.
Janice Gray, aye.
Susan G.
Susan G.
Susan Millinger, Susan M. I.
Okay, motion carries. Thank you, Marianne, ever so much.
You're welcome. I have one other
Yeah.
question. So last week, Kathy started doing her yoga class. People seem, all right, Susan, you liked it? Good. Okay, Joanne, did you come? Good. Did you like
Yeah,
it?
Sue's here.
Okay.
I don't have the capacity to get my computer into position to have her see me.
Okay, no, but that's okay. As long as you
Yeah.
can see her.
Yeah.
That's good, good. So, so anyway, she started quite a number of weeks later than she might have, because she wasn't available. And when I spoke to you about it, I hadn't spoken to her, and I had proposed a certain number of weeks at $50 a week. So, and anyway, she's doing less weeks, but at a higher rate of $65 a class, which is what she usually charges anyway. So it's the total for this fiscal year that we're in. So it's 1, 2, 3, it's 7 weeks, and it's $455. And so before I had proposed $50 a class, this is still less money than the previous proposal. Is that okay?
Do we need a new motion on that, or Linda?
I can't remember exactly what we moved. I think we moved to pay up to
I forget what it was.
whatever it was.
It was up to
So-
500 something.
It was at least 550.
Yeah.
That's what we
Yeah.
voted was up to 550. So if that's
Okay.
what we did, then we're good.
Okay, okay, alrighty. So you don't mind that the rate per class is different?
Anybody?
Nope, but so Marianne, is it 7 weeks total, or is it 7 weeks in this fiscal year?
It's
Or-
7 weeks in this fiscal year.
Okay.
Yeah, which
Because
is
that's
perfect.
what, yeah, that's where we're, and then then the next fiscal year is another story, right? That's, yeah,
Right. Right.
okay, yes,
And that's why we have money to subsidize the foot care clinic.
Mhm.
Okay, because we have plenty of money right now.
okay.
Did we get our money?
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
we did. Yes,
Okay.
yes, we did. We did get it. And so we do. So we'll, because it's,
I'm busy, Kat.
today is May 18th and the fiscal year ends at the end of June. So we're okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
So
Okay,
thank
Thanks,
you, Mary
Marianne.
Ann. Thank you
Marianne,
so much.
okay,
Marianne,
okay.
wait.
Care. Yeah,
Marianne,
okay,
let me know how I can
Yeah.
help with this, okay?
okay. Alrighty, I'm gonna write something up and I'll send it to you to read over and edit. How does that sound?
Sounds good.
Very good.
And would this be,
Okay,
would this be what would be on the website as well?
yes, yeah. So, I'll send it to you because sometimes, you have to add a comma or take out a comma with me. I kind of just throw them in willy-nilly and so, okay. All right. Thanks so much, you guys.
Oh,
Right.
thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Okay.
Okay, Marianne.
I'm trying to get out.
The awkwardness
know.
and awkwardness
I'm on
of
my
Zoom.
phone. I know, and it's on my phone, and it's harder to figure out on my phone. But just ignore me.
Okay.
Okay, I'll
So-
figure it out. I don't know.
So does anyone still have bandwidth to talk about your joint meeting with the village neighbors, Janice and Susan?
Yeah,
Uh,
Janice, you told me that I should do it.
Well, you volunteered to do it, but I did take some, and I looked to see,
Oh, I thought you said you would be happy if I did it.
yeah, I said I'd be happy, but I didn't tell you to do it. You've offered to do it.
Well, yes, but I said, do you want to do it too? And you said,
Well, you said you would.
Let's not take
All right,
time.
girls.
I have my
I'm fine
notes,
with
so if you leave something out, I will jump in.
Oh, good. Okay, I want to try to make it fairly brief, and I don't have a clock in this room. How are we doing time-wise?
It's 6:38.
Oh, gosh. Okay. Well, you all have seen the minutes, which were not written by me. They're written by Mary Ann Palmieri, and which is why I appear as from Shutesbury in one place and from Wendell at another place. And that's sort of, anyway, that's to me, I'm sorry, off the record, that's what Village Neighbors is, a little bit. I want to tell you one of the interesting things of the 10 or 11 people there, 5 of them were for Shutesbury. The 2 of us and 3 people who are on boards or committees. So Shutesbury is well represented. in the structure and organization of Village Neighbors. And there was no one from Leverett at the meeting, which was pointed out and discussed. And they said that Leverett does not participate in the organization much of it all, but they make a lot of the calls requesting some sort of service. So one of their goals is to try to get Leverett more involved.
Okay.
There was a discussion, each of the three towns there talked a little bit about what the COAs do, and the COAs, all three COAs do much the same things in terms of having med ride and foot clinic and a newsletter. New Salem has more by way of things like a craft group and a games group. The challenges, the big challenge people mention is, well, New Salem said everybody on COA is over 80, and they would like to get younger participants and are not having much luck doing that. And in general, Wendell talked about having low participation and wanting to get more people involved. So getting more people involved is definitely an issue. One of the things that was discussed that Janice and I thought was maybe worth consideration is there was talk about the possibility of a shared COA newsletter that all three towns, at least maybe not Leverett, might consider putting out together or taking turns putting out. But if it interests COA, that would be something to possibly think about and discuss. The Village Neighbors people talked a little bit about their organization, and they talked about some of the things they do that are like what the COAs do, med rides, but also some of the things that are different from what COAs do, in that they can take people shopping or do shopping for people.
Right.
And they can take people to social events and would be happy, for example, to take people to events, Shutesbury events in Shutesbury School or Town Hall. One of their big must-haves or would like to have is a van that they think ideally the towns involved would get together and write a grant for a van. And there is a grant program for vans at AARP, which some of those folks were talking about writing, and I have no idea whether they did anything about it this year. Marianne would like, Nancy would like to have more people who are both on COA and members of Village Neighbors. I think because it would help to the two different kinds of groups to coordinate, and that's one of her goals, coordination. And they want, Village Neighbors wants to increase its membership, which is currently free, and as we know, and you know, they're hoping for some collaboration. Those are the main points. Janice, what would you like to add?
Just a couple of things. This is Janice. The Wendell Council on Aging used to have a newsletter, but the person retired, so they don't have one now.
No, they said they had one. They just didn't have, it was a smaller format than in the past.
Okay, I missed that. I'm sorry. And one of the things they were trying to do with the possibility of a shared newsletter is to encourage people to, once we can attend events, to, like, if we had a talk from somebody doing a talk like that Medicare one that very few people came to last year, if it was in a shared newsletter, then people from Wendell and New Salem could come and hear it as well, and Village Neighbors could maybe drive them there. So there was a lot of that kind of stuff going on. And one of the things that a Village Neighbor person, Elizabeth Fernandez O'Brien, who came to our meeting, in fact, with Nancy Spittle in February, she would like.
That was Miriam.
Yeah, it was
Oh, sorry, you're right. I was not, yeah, you're right, Miriam. I get the two confused because our kids all went to school at the same time, and we, you know, I apologize for that. You're correct. I am kind of fried today. Anyway, Elizabeth was hoping to try to find ways to get seniors who were already kind of disconnected and are now even more disconnected, connected again. And for example, having a lecture that they could attend by Zoom. That was an idea she threw out for like, what are we going to do now? And then someone named Dawn pointed out that when the idea of this shared newsletter came up, she said that there are 7 Council of Agings on the other side of the Connecticut River that coordinate their newsletter. So they share the costs of printing and things like that and advertise each other's events. And also that if we, our Council on Aging, want something to appear in the Village Neighbors newsletter, we could send it to Dina Pelosi. She's a Shutesbury resident who is
Yeah.
doing their publicity.
Mhm.
So, and then also there was some interest in maybe, where did it go? She also thought that Village Neighbors could help our towns make the baby steps towards something like senior housing. So that's really all I have to add there.
Well, since Janice brought up the whole idea of information about events, we were told that the Village Neighbors newsletter includes the calendars of all 4 town COAs.
Oh,
But I don't know where they're getting the calendars from.
I guess they read the newsletters. So, you know, we could try to send them things, I guess. Make it easier.
yes, we could. They are always interested in receiving things, news,
Oh.
news bits.
Then here's one other little bit. You might remember way back when my very first meetings with you guys, I wondered about a loan closet for medical equipment. And then we had that little article in the newsletter that said we don't have one really, but here's where you can turn. And Wendell has a loan closet, and there was talk of maybe we could collaborate on something in that way. The meeting wasn't as well organized as I think Susan and I would have liked, and didn't really go anywhere with that.
Wendell has a senior center, its own little space. That's another issue
Yeah.
that other COAs don't have a real space.
Right.
Yeah, there would be
Right.
New Salem meets in
Have a
church.
room.
We do, and it gets used for a lot of other
You
things.
share with other people.
It
Yeah.
really is. It really is the COA's room.
Yeah.
But we can't truly occupy it fully in the way that we might want to. You know, with puzzle tables and
Yeah.
Right.
card tables and things like that. And
Yeah.
of course, our early efforts to attract people really didn't work. When we first started, we had weekly drop-in sessions with coffee and treats and people there, and occasionally a craft, and
Yeah.
it didn't do anything.
The
Didn't go
interest
anywhere.
isn't, the audience isn't there.
Right. Yeah. Or like in New Salem, where there's a group of people that I believe have been friends for a long time that are the council, so they naturally get together
Mm-hmm.
to socialize for crafts and puzzles and games and things.
Well, New Salem is still doing community meals. I don't know how they manage it. Janice and I were puzzled by that, but they told us they still are doing it, or they were in April.
Just to clarify something that Susan M. said, that when they were saying that their members are over 80, they meant the members on the Council on Aging organization, like
Yes.
us, not the people who are attending.
Right. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
I thought, I'm sorry if that wasn't clear.
It may have been clear, but I heard it as an editor's ear and wanted to make sure that.
Yeah. Susan M. was trying to make this a short report.
Sorry, Janice, screwed it up.
Um, Susan G,
Here,
did you want to say something?
no, just it was interesting what we just heard, and I'm just sitting here listening.
Okay, thanks. Sounds like it was interesting and informative, and thank you both for participating and giving us a thorough report. I don't, does anyone want to take any action at this point?
I'd like to see us talk further, but not now,
Okay.
about
Yeah.
the possibility of a sharing in the newsletter in some way.
Okay.
or ways. Yeah.
Okay. All right. That sounds like a plan.
And we would need our editor too.
Mhm. And possibly some shared things like we had talked about doing a program on dementia or something like that that might be of interest to different
Yep.
communities.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nancy Spittle said she has now been trained to do the dementia cafes. I don't know if she'd been trained when she met with us.
I think she
Yeah, she did mention that. Yeah.
She did. Yeah.
Um,
But we can't do that too effectively over Zoom. I
No,
would
no, it's
think.
just for
No.
future thought.
But a talk we could do over Zoom, and I think that's a good idea.
And there was also some interest in the idea of when we get out of all of this, of the idea of these little short trips that I had been wanting to explore.
I
And-
think that would need a van.
Well, this is, well, it did come up that as shared towns, maybe we could go together on, a van, renting one, like from Valley
that-
Transporter or Kuzmetsky's bus service or something like that.
I remember from the meetings that I went to at LifePath, there were a lot of issues about liability of transporting people.
This wouldn't be our volunteers transporting people.
No, yeah. Somebody
There was
like
some
Valley
interest in that.
Limo.
Yeah.
so in the interest of time and energy, I suggest that we carry over talking about future shared projects
Yeah.
to another meeting, and just recognizing that, we're going to continue with Zoom meetings for ourselves for the foreseeable future. Next month anyway.
Yeah.
And also to remember that we still have our housing brainstorming session. And I know it's challenging to do some of these things without all the papers in front of us, but I just want to recognize that we still have that, that we've all put considerable energy into, and we kind of were holding off because we're doing Zoom meetings, but maybe there's a way that we can begin to do some brainstorming together.
I
And-
just
Go
can
ahead.
I footnote that? I was reading Rita's campaign website today,
Mhm.
and I saw, which I did not know, that she was the administrator of an affordable housing program for
Yes.
many years.
Yes,
So we've got a local expert we could call on.
we do. And we, when you're right. And how she's available, I don't know, but I have spoken during the CPC meetings about our interest in investigating senior housing for Shutesbury. So she is aware.
Great. All
Yeah.
right.
So,
Okay. I have to go because my husband has a 7 o'clock Zoom.
okay. All right. So motion to adjourn?
I so move
Okay.
at 6:53 p.m.
Okay.
Thank you. Oh, geez.
Roll
Not
call
much
vote.
time for Gary.
Lynn Davis, Scott, aye?
Do we have a second?
Yeah, me.
Aye, Janice.
Susan G, you voting?
Gee,
We didn't hear you.
hi.
Okay.
And Susan Millinger, aye.
Okay.
Unanimous. Okay.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Good.
Thank you, Linda and
Bye,
Joanne.
everybody.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, I'm ending the meeting.
Okay.